Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's week number 25 of the 2018 racing season. And, well, if you watch our show regularly, then I will tell you that the Derby Trail begins at Churchill Downs under the Twin Spires, and it ends when we go back to Churchill Downs under the Twin Spires. So we are once again going to Churchill Downs. It's in Louisville, Kentucky, in case you forgot from just about a month ago. And they have a stakes pack card. It includes the Stephen Foster Handicap and the Fleur de Lis. The middle pick four starts in race number 6. It ends in race number 9, and they are all stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends, and they are also my racing analysts. Folks, our East Coast handicapper, and he comes to you from his home in Staten Island, New York, where Ray Torado just witnessed a triple crown at Belmont Park. In fact, Ray has seen 2 triple crown winners in the last 4 years, making you the friend that I most envy. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm blessed, I tell you.
Yeah.
That crowd, at the mile when Justify opened up about 2 lengths, all you heard was a roar and clapping. And they started to clap like the last 3/8 of a mile. I swear, it's just tremendous. What a feeling. The crowd was gorgeous, and it was just beautiful, I tell you. 2 of them. I've witnessed 2 of them. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was almost the exact same feeling for me while sitting on my couch in Murrieta. All right, speaking of my couch in Murrieta, up next is our West Coast handicapper. He's actually coming to us from his home in Temecula, California, right next door to Murrieta. Joe English. Unless he runs in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, it sounds like our only opportunity to see Justify in the flesh, so to speak, could be next Saturday at Santa Anita for a parade, and boy, does that sound familiar.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something about me sitting on your couch, but
yeah, no.
Yeah, I've sat on that couch before, so but yeah, no, I don't think they've made anything public about what Justify is going to do, and I guess Twitter and the social media universe is obviously open for that discussion if you want to have it. But yeah, no, I'm not sure where they're going to go, but I guess we'll have to see how that plays out.
All right, everybody. Well, last week, in case you haven't figured out, last week was Big Sandy. We were there playing Belmont Park. We didn't last long in our group pick 4 ticket. We got bounced out in leg 1. We split Chad Brown's, and as we usually do when we do that, we paid the price. I'll share that I scared some folks in my house, maybe a couple of neighbors, when Sadler's Joy and High Happy got tagged at the wire in the Manhattan. So, 4 deep alive and just bounced out right there. So, all right, time for a quick weather update, and this one comes to you from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm gonna give you 2 weather updates. You don't get that often here like that, but they are going from daytime into the night tomorrow. So during the day, it's a scorcher. It's mainly sunny. The high is 94 degrees. They do have winds, just very, very light winds. In the nighttime, it's going to be clear skies. It's a low of 73 degrees. And again, just a little bit of light and variable wind. There is a 10% chance of rain all day. And for those of you who are wondering, the sundown is coming at 9:08 p.m. local time tomorrow. 9:08. All right. A total of 11 races. 5 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4. It begins in race 6 and concludes in race 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Let's go.
I don't even need goggles. Let's go. It's sunny out. Let's do this.
Race 6, approximate post time is 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. I am not aware of any kind of a guarantee in the pick 4. They are going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. It is the Wise Dan Stakes. It's a grade 2. Purse is $200,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. 8 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 4. It's World Approval, trained by Mark Cassie and ridden by John Velasquez. He is 6-5 on the Churchill Downs morning line. The race is named for 2-time Horse of the Year, Wise Dan. In a racing career that began in 2010, He won 19 graded stakes races, including victories on turf, dirt, and 2 types of synthetic surface. He is the first horse to win the same 3 Eclipse Awards in consecutive years, having been named American Horse of the Year, Champion Older Male, and Champion Male Turf Horse in 2012 and 2013. Ray, his owner, his trainer, and just about everybody else calls the favorite World Approval. But you and I both know I think of him as Ray's little pony.
That's right.
Shock me. Who do you like in the Wise Dan?
Well, you will be shocked because I mean he'll be on my ticket, but I'm gonna go on with number one, the Visidero, and I will tell you why. Out of his shocker, yes. There's a little bit of price, 3-1, but he's 5 wins and he's 3 for 3 at Churchill, and he's got a new jockey, Javier Toledo, and the last race he was a little closer to the pace, and he ran well off the layoff. So I think he'll be able to hit this mile on 16th, and I guess the Manhattan came up a little too close for them because he debuted this year on May 26th, and that was only a few weeks after that. So he should be ready for this one. He's 3-1. He'll get a good pace to run at. He'll be a little closer, and Churchill kind of a little favors mid runners, closers, not too much speed. So I will go with number one. I do like number 4, Word Approval. Was my second choice. Holy cow. He's winner of 6 of his last 7. Losing to Manhattan last year, a little too far for him. But I got to tell you, he was my cash cow on British Cup Day. And Joe knows he saw me just cheering up and down and almost jumped in that pond over there in Delmar when he won. He seemed flat in the Kilroy, shipping west, running back in 4 weeks. May have had a little effect on him. So now Mark has to give him a little time off, a little RR. As these horses get older, their legs start to go a little bit, so you just got to be careful with him. He's 6 years old now. He had a big year last year. So I'm a little tired of the betting him at 65. So I just want to see a little life for him this year before I put some money on him. But he'll be on my ticket because, he's definitely, this is his distance, mile 16. So,
half an hour ago. Go.
I do like number 5, Misunderstood, 10-1. He had a big year last year, 7-8 against Lesser, and he had some tough races this year. He ran into Heart to Heart in the Maker's Mile, and that's still tough. That's a tough tax, and he was 8-1. He ran a good speed figure, so he might be rounding into form. That race he's only 2.5 lengths behind, so gotta give him a little chance there. He ran to Synchrony, another tough horse down the fairgrounds. So he's 2 for 2 at Churchill. Brad Cox, Flon Drew, they're blazing together, 41%, 39 starts. So, and he's the horse of the course too, so I would play him at 10-1. I do like number 2 also, Shining Copper. Speed's always dangerous, as we saw last week in the Met Mile. Smart jockey like Irad Ortiz, he won't go winging it and to run him into submission. He's gonna try and raid him. He'll be on the lead, but he'll try and open up as much as he can to keep him relaxed, and maybe might steal the race because pace makes the race. So 6-1. Shine Copper is always tough. I love when he opened up by 20 lengths in the British Cup a few years ago. We had a little joy with that. But he might. The Ramseys show up on Saturday night, so they'll be there all dressed up and ready for dinner. So these are my picks there: the 1, 4, 5, and 2 in that order. Joe, what approval?
It's funny, Ray. Sadly, I think we're on the same. I mean, the top 3 are probably in the same order. Like you said, I can't really add much about Divisadero. He's won 3 graded stakes over this course. He seems, and the thing is, he seems to run decent enough. Doesn't win the race before it, but he ends up, doing really well over this course. I am a little concerned about the fact that there's a trainer switch. There's a trainer switch 2 back, and I don't know too much about Toledo. Obviously, rode a decent enough race at Monmouth. Got a chance to watch the race, and it was the Visidero's first race in quite some time. So he's got a chance to do exactly what he's done before 3 times, and he's 3-1. And I really wanted to actually just go with one horse. I really was going to say, okay, do I go World Approval or do I go to Visidero and just stick to my guns and choose one? And World Approval's last race did scare me a little bit, being that it just really wasn't anything like him at all. And I actually got a chance to read some quotes from Marcassi about that race, and they said they really don't know what happened that day. They said something about John Velasquez not being there. A couple of other, what seemed like excuses to me. But the one thing about Cassie is, and I like Formulator because I can do this, Cassie's horses are running really well of late. And it's not just at Woodbine. He's even winning at 25% at Belmont and Churchill Downs over the last 30 days. So the barn's obviously getting hot at the right time. And if the barn, if the horses in the barn, other horses in the barn were running cold, I would have probably stayed away from World Approval. But I'm going to have to, like you, Ray, I'm going to have to use him. And what I probably will do is I might make a bigger ticket with him, and there's another short price favorite in a couple races, which we'll get to, I'm sure. And probably do a larger ticket with a couple of singles and then go deeper in the other 2 legs. And I do like Mr. Misunderstood, and a lot of it's for the same reasons you talked about. And World Approval and Divisadero are both 6 now. And maybe Mr. Misunderstood, 2 for 2 over the track, 2 stakes races last year. Again, it was only against 3-year-olds. And he did chase heart to heart in the Maker's Mark, and nobody's going to beat him that day. He ran a nice, sneaky last quarter, and he didn't actually break all that well. Usually he's a little bit closer to the lead. You see more often than not, he's 3 length and a half back, 5th by 3, 3rd by a length. He was a little further back than they wanted him to be that day. At least I think they did. And I think this horse is an up and comer, and he's had a little time off since the Maker's Mark. The buyer speed figure is 101, so it's not much different than the Brisk figure. And if the 2 favorites were to stumble, I think Mr. Misunderstood is the most likely winner of everybody else in the race. But if I had to go, my 2 A picks are the 1 and the 4. Again, I like the Visidero more than I like World Approval. I just want to make sure World Approval can prove it to me once again that time just hasn't caught up with him. And like Ray said, he had a big year last year, and maybe this year, maybe he just felt the effects in that one race, and we'll see. But tomorrow's race is important, I think, in where he goes from here. So 1 and 4 for me, and the 5, Mr. Misunderstood, would be my bay pick at 10-1 in the Wise Dan. Rich?
Yeah, no, folks, I don't have anything different than what you've already heard there. My check mark, as you already saw, is on the favorite. I strangely enough, imagine that. I'm on World Approval and Ray's not. But yeah, he's my top pick based on all the reasons that you heard above. I'm playing the forgiveness angle off of that last one there at the Frank Kilroy Mile. Oddly enough, I think of East Coast horse coming over here, and I thought he was just going to kill us in the Kilroy Mile, and he didn't. I like that Joe's got the missing jock angle. Anything if you like the shipping angle. The fact that the pace was really hot that day. I don't know what it is you want to look for, but let's go ahead and give World Approval a chance to come back off of that. So the 4 is my top pick. My second choice, oddly enough, is a couple of weeks on this show, I brought up the fact that if I actually did come back into their life and I came back as a horse, I'd probably come back as a maiden claiming 20, and I'd probably race on the dirt. And the fact of the matter is, they would probably name me something like Mr. Misunderstood. So I do like Mr. Misunderstood in this race. He comes off of, again, a little bit of a sneaky 6th finish in there where, again, heart to heart. And if you see there, he had a slow start. He's got Florent Giroux and Brad Cox. That's a lights out combination anywhere you go and things like that. But as you see there, 41% together on a sample size of 39. You've heard Cox's name on this show a few times. He's kind of become one of those trainers that we like to go to. And so I did like Mr. Misunderstood, and I did go a little bit deeper, which included the other 2 horses that you've already heard about. So I thought Shining Copper has his usual chance of stealing a race here. He has run into World Approval before, unfortunately, and World Approval does seem like he's the kind of a horse who could handle that type of thing. But that being said, he does have that early speed. Irad Ortiz, Mike Maker. I wasn't going to ignore him, and I think there's some room to go a little bit more shallow a little bit later. And so I've got the two on here, and I was going to leave Divisadero off. He is my fourth choice. If I could show you on my pad here, he actually fell into my fourth spot at B pick, but hearing my friends both taking a shot on that, I'm going to go with 4, 5, 2, and I'm also going to use the 1. I believe Ray has got the 4 and the 5, and then Ray also has the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 2. And let me go ahead and I will come on back to us, and we're going to go ahead and move along to our next race. And this is race number 7. They are going 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. This is the Fleur de Lis Handicap. It's a grade 2, and the purse is $200,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Win and you are in. The Fleur de Lis is part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series, and the winner will punch their ticket into the 2018 Longines Distaff. That's at the Breeders' Cup, which coincidentally will be run right here under the Twin Spires. 9 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 9. That's Farrell, trained by Wayne Catalano and ridden by Channing Hill. A tepid 3-1 on the Twin Spires morning line. Since its inaugural running in 1975, the Fleur de Lis Handicap has been contested at various distances. It was run at 1 mile from 1975 and 1976, at 1 mile and 1/16 from 77 to 82, and at its current distance of 1 mile and 1/8 from 1983 until now. Let's see, Forever Unbridled won last year's race. I see Royal Delta and Rachel Alexandra. They have also graced the winner's circle of this very prestigious race. Joe, Rachel Alexandra was one of the best fillies in recent memory. You see any of that caliber in today's edition of the Fleur de Lis?
Sorry. I guess I should have covered my laugh when I was saying that. No, Rich, honestly. Actually, I don't even see any Forever Unbridleds or Royal Deltas in this field, which to me is kind of surprising in one respect, but not so in others. I guess because they ran the races in at Belmont last week that attracted most of the main players in the division. At least most of actually, that's not true, because I guess the Beholder Mile was also run last week, but that was at Santa Anita. Anyway, it did. I would have figured, based on the fact that this is a win and you're in race, and that the Breeders' Cup is at Churchill Downs, I would have figured this would have been a really good spot. And to be honest, some of the horses that ran last week in Belmont would probably lay over this field pretty easily. I mean, the field is a very difficult field to handicap, but it's not anywhere near any of the quality that we saw either in the Beholder Mile or in the Phipps last weekend in New York. And like I said, Abel Tasman would lay over this field pretty easily. Given that performance, she'd be 1-9 in this spot. And that's actually kind of why I'm going for a little bit of a price here. Plus, if World Approval and the other horse that we'll talk about shortly win, I'm going to need something to spice this up. So I'm going with the most likely horse to be on the lead, and that is the 8, Apology Not Accepted. She's run probably her 2 best races at Churchill Downs. And she seems to like Kentucky because she ran really well in the double dog there last time at Keeneland. And it's funny because it's like you get Julien Leproux is always known as a patient guy, doesn't necessarily run a horse early, doesn't let them go, let them, hold them back. But on a speed horse, I kind of like that. And she actually almost won that race last time at 23-1. Julien gets back aboard. Again, the horse happens to like Churchill Downs, finished second to Forever Unbridled last year while being 3.5 lengths clear of everybody else. Won a salty allowance here in the race before that. And again, I see other horses that could be on the lead with her, but I don't think anybody that needs the lead. I think this horse is going to be on the lead, and they're going to have to catch her and try and figure out what happened. The other horses are going to have to figure out who's going to finish, who's going to be second, third, fourth around that first turn. I'm just hoping that I'm just hoping that 2 or 3 don't go on a suicide mission, because I know this horse is definitely going to be on the lead. I'm going to take a chance with the Dangerous Speed. Like I said, I like Julian Leproux getting aboard. The horse has done well at Churchill Downs. And at 12-1 in a field where really there isn't much of a standout, I'll take that price. So she's my top choice. I do like the 7 Valadorna as my second choice. She ran a really nice race last time out, again, to beat Apology Not Accepted in the Double Dog Dare. And she beat Song of Spring, who turned out to be a winner at Pimlico, excuse me, on Preakness weekend. She can close, and again, this is one of Rich's, one from the front, one from the back angle. She doesn't, but the thing is, if you look at those last few starts, she doesn't have to be at the back. She could be one of the horses who are near the top. If she wants to be, she could be a stalker, or if for whatever reason Farrell or others go early with Apology Not Accepted, she could sit back off the pace. And again, Cassie's Barn is running really well. So I'm gonna take her at 4-1 as the closer, who I like best, and obviously she's done okay at Churchill Downs, 2 runs, finishing second twice. So I would take her as my second choice. Blue Prize, one of the horses that was beaten by Song of Spring last time at Churchill, at Pimlico, is another horse I like a little bit in here. 11 times out of 13 in the exacta. And what's funny is this is one of those stats where you might think, okay, well, this isn't really a good stat. Corrales' barn for over the last 2 years is 1 for 22 at Churchill Downs on the dirt. But the thing is, if you look back at that Fall City race, this is the horse that won the race. So this is the one of the 1 for 22. And obviously it was her best, winning a grade 2 by 8.5 over this surface. Jose Ortiz gets up. So she's got to be contended with. I wasn't necessarily a bit. She did a lot of the dirty work last time, and she just happened to lose, late against Song of Spring at Pimlico. Why I keep saying Churchill. And Jose Ortiz gets back aboard, so that's a horse a horse I have to use. So my A picks are 8, 7, and 3, and I'm going to give you a B pick, and I'm going to give you a trivia question. The B pick is the 2, Mopatism. And the reason I'd use Mopatism is because if you look at her PPs, I'm going to disregard the turf race. Obviously, an experiment didn't necessarily go all that well. But if you look back in her PPs, Fault, Unique Bella, Paradise Woods, Forever Unbridled, It Tis Well, Abel Tasman, there are none of those in here. So if Doug O'Neill can get this horse to fire, I think she's got a shot, and she's 8-1 in the morning line. And now for the trivia question. Who was the last horse that Doug O'Neill sent out to win at Churchill? Does anybody know? He's pretty famous.
Nyquist.
Absolutely. And that was 2 years ago, just so that you're all aware. That's why she's not an A pick for me. His horses just have not run as well at Churchill as they've done elsewhere. And like I said, he hasn't. I think the sample size is like he's like 0 for 12, but they haven't run very well at Churchill. But again, she's been running against much better. So if she has her running shoes on, this would be the one that breaks the schneid for O'Neill over the last 2 years. So I'm going 3 deep with the 8 ticket, 8, 7, and 3 with the 8 Apology Not Accepted as my top choice, and I'm using Mopatism as a B pick. Hopefully, she will find this group of fillies a little bit more easy to deal with. So, Ray, I will hand it off to you. Are you going with the Keno? Have you fired up the Keno machine yet?
Well, actually, I think we will, because we have all different picks here. No consensus, except for one. My top pick is the 3, Blue Prize. So you did pick him. Toss lost 9 furlongs. She's 6 for 6 in the money at that distance. So she keeps Jose Ortiz. I like that. He has a second and a win with her. He's got good tackle speed. He can probably sit behind those speed horses. and be in the race top of stretch. Like you said, 11 for 13 in exacta. So she should be in the race. And with a good trip. That was a good trip. Last time she just missed, had the lead. Couldn't last. Song of Spring. That was a sloppy track there. But this horse should run well. I do like number 6, Awestruck. This is a 4-year-old. As a 4-year-old, she seems to be a different horse, more explosive. Her 2 starts this year have been very good. She steps up here, but this is all the our 3 BG angle with IRL Ortiz. Moving for claiming, and we're going to grade 2.
Mm.
So I think she can handle it. I think she can do well. 8 to 1. This year she's been she probably grew and gained more weight and whatever, but she's running well. So we gotta go with the road. Go with the road. Number 5, Song of Spring, 1 for 1 at 9 furlongs. Has enough speed here to stay close. Santana's here, fresh off that mile win. Probably his biggest win in his career.
Yeah.
So the race off the layoffs, she'll be charging from the back, and there could be enough pace here. So I'll go 365. I do like your 2, Joe, and so I'll probably include that horse. And the other the 8 could be also dangerous. So yeah, we're gonna go Keno here. We have a consensus here of a lot of horses. So 365 for me in the floateries. Rich.
Yeah, and I guess I'll finish this off by throwing the 9 in there because that's the only one that you guys haven't talked about so far. That's on here. Let that my check mark, as you saw, is above. Is on the one that's already been hit. Is the 3. I like Blue Prize for all the reasons you heard Joe and Ray already mention, including the fact that the horse has the best last race pace figure, if I'm not mistaken. See right there. All right, so I do have I like Joe's pick as well. I also like the 8. I was looking for the horse that is the fastest overall in this race, and I think that is Apology Not Accepted. It could be Blue Prize, but I thought it was Apology Not Accepted, so I wasn't going to quibble and decided to take them both, and decided to just go ahead and just play the whole three of a kind. All the speed horses. I didn't go one from the front, one from the back. I just stuck to the speed here. Catalano and Channing Hill. And again, the horse has only gone this distance once before, didn't even hit the board there, but is 3 for 8, 5 for 8 in the money at Churchill Downs, and does come off a nice second place finish there. It was the grade 1 La Troyenne that was here at Churchill Downs, and got beat by Salty, as you see there. It finishes ahead of Martini Glass. Don't always like to play that angle, but Martini Glass has been hot lately. So I did play 3, 8, 9. Let's see. I think Joe played 8, 7, 3. Those were his top line, and Joe did throw the 2 in as his B pick. And Ray went 3, 6, 5. I think I've got them all. Let me come on back. Hello, everybody, and we are moving along to race number 8. That's actually the feature today. It is 1 mile and 1/8 on the main track. It's the Stephen Foster Handicap. It's a grade 1. The purse is $500,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. Win and you are in. The Stephen Foster is part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series, and the winner will punch their ticket into the 2018 Breeders' Cup Classic. Did I mention that the race will be run right here under the Twin Spires? 9 starters, and your morning line favorite starts at 6 to 5, and he is coming from post number 6. It's Backyard Heaven, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Irad Ortiz. The race is named in honor of famed composer Stephen Foster, who wrote numerous melodies, including My Old Kentucky Home, which is the song that is played annually at the Kentucky Derby, as the Kentucky Derby field parades around the track. As I mentioned, the race serves as a prep for the Breeders' Cup Classic, which is widely viewed as the top race in the country for older male horses. St. Liam, Curlin, Blame, Fort Larned, and last year's winner, Gunrunner, all went on to win the Classic after first capturing the Stephen Foster. Ray, what do you think? You think the Breeders' Cup Classic winner is just kind of hanging out in Louisville this weekend? Or is he actually racing in the Stephen Foster?
I think he's hanging out.
I gotta feel like he's watching like we are.
He's gonna be watching. You know what? I think he could probably run this weekend and beat the field. Remember that horse with the few skill? He ran on March 30th to March 31st. That was something.
Oh,
Ran back-to-back days in Great Britain. So, anyways, um, we have here. I think we have here a 4-year-old version of Justified. You only got 4 races, and they've all been like not heavy hitting figures here. Backyard Heaven, Chad Brown. We haven't seen much of his horse, but every time he runs, he runs well, and he runs big figures, and he could be going for a good future. I see. If he just stays, I guess these long layoff lines. You have to get some races into him, and let's see how he can do. He's 3 for 4. He's been winning by 4 and 5 on the Alashiba off the layoff. So he's a good horse. He's fast. He's moving up to grade 1. So let's see if he can handle this field. The Whitney could be next for him. Who knows? So this may be Chad Brown's next bullet for Justified because I think he's running out of them.
yeah.
He's tried with everybody. He's tried with Good Magic. He's tried with the horse last week, Gurkowski. So this might be his third one. You just got to keep firing at him, and let's see if they meet one day. But he's 65. He'll be heavy favorite here. He should win. I wouldn't single him. I have a few horses here that I kind of like for long shots. Maybe try and blow up this pick 4. I do like number 7, looking at Lee. He seems to love Churchill Downs. He ran second in the Derby. He won his last race with Churchill. Maybe he just likes the long stretch that Churchill has. He's a long striding horse. He comes from the back. And that's probably what he likes. So he could be a good long shot here, come down the stretch, pick up the pieces. I do like number 3, Hawkadam. He was 4 lengths behind Backyard Heaven, which isn't too bad. And he was 4th in last year's 4-star. He gets Brian Hernandez, who knows Churchill pretty well. One of the top jockeys there. So he's gonna have a good race. Dialashiba is 26-1. He closed for 4th. Yeah, he beat Good Samaritan, who's a good horse. Just fell a little short of Backyard Heaven, who was gone that day. So he could improve off of this. And if Backyard Heaven, takes a little step backwards, his horse could be there. So I'll go 6-7-3 for my picks. Joe?
I'm sure I've developed a little bit of a reputation on this show as somebody who doesn't necessarily like to take short prices on favorites and likes to try and figure out ways to beat them. And I guess my reputation is going to take a hit this week because I'm taking Backyard Heaven. I'm going to take the free square. I had a chance to watch the Alashiba before we started the show, and I'll even go as I heard my cohorts talking about whether the Breeders' Cup Classic winner is running this weekend at Churchill Downs or whether he's just hanging out. I'll take the opposite view. I think this horse has a good shot. He can sit close, and at least he's beating older horses. And again, we'll find out more as we go through the year about how good or bad the 3-year-old crop is. And of course, it's a long way from June 16th to I guess it's November. I don't know if it's October or November, but it's relatively in that area. It's a long way to get there. But the one thing I know about Backyard Haven is he's going to be probably 3-5 to win this race to get a berth into the Breeders' Cup Classics. The one thing as long as he's healthy, I would expect that he'll be there. And again, there is something to be said. We don't know exactly what he's beating yet as well. It's pretty much 6 of one, half dozen the other. But he was very impressive last time in the Alashiba. He's never really taken a backward step. Like, you see the Ramseys, you see Chad Brown. Irad Ortiz is coming along for the ride. I just think he's better than these. And unfortunately, I don't really think it's close. If for whatever reason he does not run his race, I do have a B pick, and that's the one Honorable Duty. The only horse who's really shown me anything. I mean, I've seen that Pavel has decent speed figures at Belmont. But I saw him at the Hollywood. We saw him. I saw him at the Gold Cup, and he didn't really run a step against Accelerate and Dr. Door and City of Light. But so Honorable Duty would be the horse, at least in the New Orleans Handicap. Won a nice race. Won the Mine Shaft also at the fairgrounds. Horse won by 5 in an optional claimer last time, optional 100 claimer over this track, and 4 for 8 over the track with 2 seconds is not a bad record. So if there was a horse I would think that would be the second choice or the choice that's most likely to win if Backyard Haven doesn't show up, it's the one Honorable Duty. But I will go ahead and be the chalk eating weasel today. I will take the free square. I will take Backyard Haven, and I just think he's better than these, and I think he'll win, Rich.
I do believe that's Backyard Heaven, and
Heaven.
and I do concur with each of you. I singled here, so I'm trying to keep my take. I went a little bit deeper in the first 2 legs, and Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz, they hit 33% together. Ken and Sarah Ramsey, I imagine the reason that they're dressed up at Churchill Downs on this Saturday is for this particular horse. He has won 3 in a row. Joe and I couldn't actually hear the call at Churchill Downs that day, and I won't go into details on that, but we did see him up on the big screen there at Santa Anita because we went there for Churchill Downs Day or for Derby Day, and he was very impressive. So I kind of made a mental note that I was going to be watching out for Backyard Heaven, and here he is. So he's won 3 in a row. If I was going to back him up, I actually went the other direction. I think I went with Irish War Cry, but I'm not putting him as a second on my choice. My ticket here with that, it would be in the event that Backyard Heaven scratched or something phenomenal happened. I thought Irish War Cry, he seemed to have found his stride in that last race. I certainly was not a big fan of his before that race, and seeing him come to life in the Pimlico Special, it put a little smile on the fan's face. And if he could duplicate that without a horse like Backyard Heaven in there, he would be my pick on this race. But I am singling the 6. Joe, I think you also singled the 6. You put the 1 underneath. As
one would have been your backup pick. Yeah, for sure.
And then Ray, you're our Cavalier here. You're 6, 7, 3.
I'm leaning towards singling the 1 with like a 7-3 B pick. Yeah, definitely. He's a strong horse. Yeah. So.
All right, here we go. And we are moving on to the finale. This is race number 9, and they are going 1 mile and 1/8. And so regret dollars for fillies, 3-year-olds only, 13 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 1. Heavenly Love, trained by Mark Cassie and ridden by Julien Leparoux, is downright tempting. 5-1. Inaugurated in 1970, the race is named for Harry Payne Whitney's 1915 champion, filly Regret. She was the first filly to win the Kentucky Derby. U.S. Thoroughbred Champions of the 20th century. She is number 71, and in a poll among the members of the American Trainers Association, she was voted the 3rd greatest filly in 5-1. 5-1 favorite. I mean, it's like Breeders' Cup came early, or maybe Christmas, but over to you for the Regret Stakes, my friend.
I'm assuming you were throwing it to me, Rich, because on my end you were cutting in and out. So
I'm sorry.
I guess I'll just it's fine. I will just take the reins. I got home tonight from work about 2 hours ago, and I started handicapping this race very intently because I knew there really is not very much to separate this field. Obviously, 5-1 morning line pretty much tells you all you need to know. That it's pretty much wide open, and somehow I could have 12 of the 13 and still not feel
no confidence,
really secure. I mean, again, this is part of the reason why I like Formulator, and I can dig into the stats. And I have 3 horses that would be on my top line. The first one is the 3. She's Pretty Lucky. And if you look at those trainer stats, Rich, if you can scroll to She's Pretty Lucky, I'd say Eddie Keneally's horses are running pretty well. Wouldn't you say? 46% for the meet. That's that good. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, exactly.
He's losing 54% of the time, Joe.
Yeah, I know. Well, what a struggle. You're going to get 10-1 on a horse who obviously has not necessarily done all that well on grass so far. But this, to me, is more stat play than anything. Keneally's 25%, and 230 ROI over the last 2 years at Churchill Downs, 20% with 207 ROI over the last 2 years at Churchill Downs on turf. And the winner, he has had winners at 5-1, 6-1, and 9-1. So this guy obviously knows how to get a horse ready. Again, not 100% sure she's bred all that well for the turf. And the 2 turf races, while they weren't bad, they weren't horrible, because if you look at the company she's been keeping, The Way I Am, Good Things Take Time, those horses ran in the Penn Oaks, the Penn Oaks 2 weeks ago. So they're still stakes horses, and if I'm looking at the racing form right, there is no Rushing Fall or The Way I Am in this race. Heavenly Love is a Grade 1 winner. That is on dirt. So again, I think this horse has a chance, because Keneally's barn is just, everybody's just running out of their skin, and 10-1 is a pretty fair price, so I would take that. Next choice would be the 6, Cash Out. Another trainer who's having a decent meet, if you want to call 36% decent. George Arnold. I got a chance to watch the allowance race that Romantic Moment, who was also in this race, ran last time and beat Cash Out by a length. That was a race that Jose Ortiz was on the winner, Romantic Vision or Romantic Moment, and they put, if you look at the splits on the screen show enough, 48 and 4 to the half, but 115 flat to the 3/4, and really nobody pressed this horse. The winner, Romantic Moment, was wire to wire, and they ran the 3rd quarter in 26 and change. After that, it was almost like heart to heart running the 1st quarter in 24. Nobody was going to catch that horse anyway. But Cash Out did the best that she could. Ran 2nd, didn't get beat badly, only a length. I think there's a little more speed in this field. At least I hope there is. I think they'll learn a little bit from watching Jose Ortiz do this to them last time. I think there's at least one other horse that goes with him, and in the 13-horse field, I know as a closer you're going to have to work out a trip. But again, more statistics with George Arnold. 19%. He's only 14% over 2 years. 19% at Churchill. 18% on Churchill Downs turf, but $2.53 ROI. And he's 4 for 15 over the last 2 years on Churchill Downs turf with 3-year-old fillies. So he obviously knows how to do something right. And again, his blinds are also running pretty well, 36%. She was the beaten favorite last time out. I'm going to give her a big chance to respond. And again, I'll take the 12-1 morning line. I did see Rich's checkmark is on my next choice, and that's the 8, Beyond Blame. Brad Cox, Florent Giroux, don't need to go any further on that. Again, coming out of a stakes race, the Edgewood, where Rushing Fall, Daddy is a Legend, and Toinette, ran 1, 2, 3, not in that order. But those horses are better than what she's going to face here. Again, Brad Cox is 30% over the Churchill Downs turf course over the last 2 years, and he's actually had 4 horses pay 4-1 or more. Believe that. Given, obviously he's obviously very popular down there. And if Florent Giroux usually gets on, if you get 6-1 on Brad Cox and Florent Giroux, that's I'm guessing this may be your favorite. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know where the favorite's going to end up. It could be any one of 5 or 6 different horses for all I know. But again, this horse has a look. She's getting some class relief, even though it's still a Grade 3. It's not the same as the Edgewood, because there is no Rushing Fall in this race. No Daddy is a Legend, no Toinette, none of those. So those would be my 3 A picks. I do have 2 B picks. I want to give Ray some time to talk, so I'll just use. I would say I would use the 11 romantic moment based on the speed angle and Jose Ortiz, and the 13 stave. I don't necessarily like the post, but the horse was impressive last time out running from the outside, and this might be the horse who presses romantic moment early on in this race. And maybe those two just 11, 13 around the track, and one of them wins. But so I would, again, 3, 6, and 8 would be my top choices, and my Bs would be the 11 and the 13. So I will hand it off to Ray, who I'm sure is going deep in this one. Ray?
Yeah. So speaking of 13, last week at the Belmont Stakes, I ran into a lady. We tried it for like 3 minutes. Okay. She had a drink in her hand. She started rumbling some numbers, and she told me, I'm gonna play 1 and 13," and she vanished into the crowd. Next thing you know, 13 spin quality wins. Thank you. What a tip. Yeah, right.
But thanks for bringing up that painful moment.
Yeah, it was painful. Yeah, no. I'm still looking for her, too. I'm like, because I didn't play the horse. What's that tip? It's just
she must be, maybe she's celebrating with Gronkowski. I mean,
yeah,
I mean,
so.
I mean the football player, not the horse.
Yeah, she hit the double too, probably. 13-1.
13-1. Well,
yeah, I would guess. I don't know. That was the exact she gonna play, but she didn't hit that anyway. Regret. Yeah, I regret that moment too. I do like number 8, Beyond Blame. Yeah, it's a wide open race. We're gonna go deep here. I got 5. No, she's 2 for 5, 4 on the money. Not too bad. She checked sharp in Edgewood, as the comment says. So we have to forgive that. She hasn't run a bad race in her career. So it's the first bad race. And Drew and Cox, lights out, like you're saying, 40%. She's got tactical speed. She can stay in the race. 11, from all these horses here, 13 horses. So she's going to be, somewhat close. So that should help. She won't get too much traffic here. And Drew should ride a good race. I do like the 11. That was Joe's B pick. She's stepping up with Mag Moment. She's stepping up. Another one with tackle speed, so they could be up there close. Ortiz, Chuck McGahee chips in. And, coming off the layoff, she won a Keeneland. That's always a tough meet there. Going a distance. So she's, this horse can run. She's 2 for 2 at the distance, 1:08, so I like that. And outside post win shouldn't hurt her too much. I do like number 10, Cabela. Just another one with a rough trip in the Edgewood. She's running well with Bridgman, who's 22% on the turf. He likes Churchill down too. He rides well there. Daniel Pites, a small barn, 17%. Should improve off the Edgewood. Bad trip. Second race off the layoffs. 6-1. Everybody's 6-1 this race. We got number 9, Secret Message. This is a must play after last week's Manhattan because of spin quality. Grand Motion's one to respect. And he shows up in these big races and he just sneaks them in there. Ira Ortiz gets the mount. He ran a good race in the Hilltop. That was his first race on grass. As you see, they ran a mile in 151 and 3. We just put a carriage in that one. That's honest time. that turf must have been like soaked. But anyways, this is a good horse. 2 for 5. It needs to improve a little bit, but I think in this, as they get older, these horses tend to improve. So this horse has a shot here. Back to firm turf. I do like also number 4, Finesse Berry. Guess who's here? Bob Baffert. Chips in a 3-year-old filly on the turf to race at Churchill in a Grade 3 race.
You must not see Bob? You must not see my tweet.
No? What's going on here? After a horrible dirt try and get back on the grass, I don't know. I like this horse 8-1. What, is it 1? Or she scratched? Who knows?
Scratched out of a stakes. She scratched out of a stakes race on Sunday at Santa Anita to run here.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. So, she'll be on my ticket. So I want to go 8, 11, 10, 9, 4. You get the rest, Joe. We're gonna hit the all button, right, man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's going to be needed because believe it or not, after all of that, I've only got in mind. I've got one consensus horse with the two of you. Just the 8. I've got actually
Yeah.
two. I've even got 2 new ones to add to that. What a
Wow.
mess.
Oh
What a
boy.
mess. I agree with what Joe said. I could easily go 7 deep in this race and
Uh,
still probably only have maybe 60% confidence that I've got it nailed down. My top pick is Beyond Blame. So I'm kind of hoping that I can get one of my top 2 or 3 home because I don't have the money to go 7 deep in the finale here after what I did in the first couple of races, even with a single in
yeah.
the third leg. So I did think that this horse deserves a definite forgiveness based on what we saw that race where checked sharply in the first. Very good call. The race was eventually won by Toinette. It was a good race, but this horse had absolutely no chance after that first in that first turn. So a little bit of a forgiveness angle. Before that, the horse hadn't run really a bad step. Just a second, 2 firsts, another second in there. Um, the interesting there is that the 2 seconds actually do come behind that horse named Cabela. And so the 10 is definitely live in here if you like the 8, which is one of those weird things where I do this sometimes where I do like the 8 and then I don't like the 10 or I don't have the 10 in here. So my second choice, though, kind of an odd name, is Go Noni Go. That's Mike Maker and Mike Smith. Look who shows up here. Mike Smith, after all of his big races and things like that, he shows up here to make a little bit of a paycheck as well. Horse has got speed, does not need the lead necessarily, could go ahead and sit a trip. And I thought this race actually came up a little bit quick with Stave and some of the other ones that Joe had mentioned earlier. So I thought this one had a chance to go a little bit quick. And this horse might be the one that gets the first jump on them. So I've also got Go Noni Go on mine with Mike Smith and Mike Maker. Not necessarily a magic combination, but you kind of like to use Mike Smith when you can. And then I ended up on the favorite, although in this case, the favorite is really just 5-1. It's Mark Casse and Julian Leperoux, and I just don't see how I can't like that combination in a turf race, here in Kentucky. Last one was on the turf in Keeneland on a yielding turf. Got bumped at the start, swung wide. You see there, that's the race caller things. I'm, again, going to use that forgiveness angle. Head coming off a little bit of a layoff into that race, and that takes a little bit of a layoff coming into this race. So Heavenly Love is my third pick. I went 8, 12, 1. Ray went 8, 11, 10, 9, 4. And Joe went 6, 8, 3. I'm going to need an abacus to put that one together for us.
Oh.
All right, let me come on back. And we will get started on the fun part of the evening here. And just give me a few minutes to work out our ticket, folks.
Yeah, Ray, my tweet was that it was related to that. I was like, wait a minute, Bob Baffert sends out a 3-year-old. There's a 3-year-old filly turf stake at Churchill Downs, and Bob Baffert has a horse in it, and Chad Brown doesn't.
Oh, God.
And who's on Baffert's horse? Ricardo Santana.
Even though Mike Smith is at the track.
And that was my other thought, Rich, was what does Mike Smith ride for anybody other than Bob Baffert anymore? Yeah. Does he need? I mean, does he need? He doesn't need to, but does he? Apparently, he does.
Does he have any other mounts in the day? I don't know.
You know what? I don't know. I only
honestly,
I only looked at this. I only looked at the pick 4, and to be honest, he might just be there to parade Justify for all we know. And maybe he just happened to get a phone call and say, "Hey, Mike Maker's got a mount open. You want it?" I mean, I'm guessing maybe he's just there to see Justify and to be on Justify for whatever they're going to do tomorrow, because they're going to do the same thing they're doing at Santa Anita next weekend. They're going to do it tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I see.
So it could just be that's why Mike Smith's there, and maybe he just happened to catch that mount. But I was like, I was really surprised that Chad Brown doesn't have a horse in that race and Baffert does. I think I said
he ran out of horses.
This is the Twilight Zone. Chad Brown doesn't run out of turf horses. He just doesn't.
I know.
he's got him every which way from Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
He's got enough turf horses that it wouldn't matter. He's obviously not going to run Rushing Fall in the race, but I mean, he's got to have other 3-year-old fillies besides Rushing Fall.
Yeah.
But man, I that was bizarre to me. is that Baffert's got a 3-year-old turf filly, and Baffert is usually. I mean, Rich knows this. I've told Rich on many occasions that I don't even look at Baffert's horses on turf. Basically, they're just not. They don't run anywhere near what he does on dirt.
Only recently that I even start to have to consider them because on occasions he's popped a couple of them like that. But other than that, no, he's
Plain Air is the only one I can remember of late.
I remember they had Plain Air, and there was one other one that got me one day. And in each case, every single time his horses went on the turf, he could be like, "So Rich just got knocked out of the pick 4."
He's just. But I mean, he's like 30% on dirt and 15 on turf.
Is even
and 15 is ridiculous for him on turf. He used to be like 5. I mean, he used to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. Yeah,
he was horrible on turf a while back.
All right. For those of you watching, if you can see on my screen here and things like that, I've got the template up for us here. And if you're wondering, Ray is in the red, and Joe goes into the black type, and that's me down there in blue. And
leg 4 is a.
Yeah, leg 4. That's just better. That's why the all button was invented.
I think just sing 6
LL maybe.
That's it.
I mean, either that or we're just gonna have to narrow to like our top choice and just. I mean, if that's the case, we deal with it. But like I said, like I said earlier, I could have 12 of the 13 in this race, and I probably still wouldn't feel all that confident.
At this time, it'll be about 10, 11 o'clock. We'll be like,
yeah, exactly. We'll be like 8 on our coast.
We'll be like, oh.
And just for the folks out there, before Rich gets the template done, to anybody watching, Happy Father's Day if you're a dad, or if you have a dad, or if your dad took you to the racetrack when you were a kid, or if you take your son. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy the day, and make some money out there. And happy Father's Day to the two of you.
Thank you. You too.
Right back at you, buddy.
And if anybody's near the Meadowlands tomorrow night, they're gonna have
Simple
racing.
Simple, Rich. Got it.
And ostrich racing. One race each. Yeah, I have to mention that.
No, wait a minute, Ray. I got a question though. Why are you gonna go to the Meadowlands when you can go to Monmouth and actually make sports bets?
That's true. Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I'm not going. I just wanted to mention it. Hamilton Ostrich Racing.
Because
William Hill has opened up their
sports now takes sports bets as of yesterday.
Yep. The William Hill Sports Betting Club, whatever you want to call it.
You can go bet parlays and baseball and futures and whatever they offer. That's someday.
I do some futures, but sports betting daily, I'm not too much into that.
Well, when football rolls around, you'll change your opinion.
Yeah. So
Betting for us too.
Yikes. Well, see, one thing for us, Rich, is Vegas is close enough that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not close. It's 4 hours away, but it's not that far.
Yeah, about 45 minutes from Monmouth.
Yeah. So that's. I'm sure that Pechanga is I'm sure that Pechanga and Lake Elsinore and all the casinos in the area are readying their rooms for it eventually when it happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a big boom of this year. Watch.
Well, I don't know if it's going to happen this year in California. I don't think it'll make it. I don't think it can make
it.
I
don't think so. No.
Yeah, not even in New York.
So it'll be more like because the decision came down too late. I'm thinking it's more like next year.
Yeah.
So we're looking at like when 2020 rolls around, we should pretty much have it wherever they want it.
All right, so that would be 54 with a single on Backyard Heaven because this is just a train wreck.
How deep is that? 9?
Yeah,
that's 9 deep.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to.
It was 13. It was 13 deep with the all button, so I backed off.
Oh wait a minute, we don't have the 13 on there.
Oh, don't we?
No, the 13's not there.
Oh, that's because
I'm going through the race to see.
That was because it was your B pick.
My B. No, it was my B. It wasn't one of Ray's A's. I'm surprised.
No.
Okay.
13, no.
2 is not on. Okay. 3 is on. 4 is on. Lemon Princess is not. Okay. Cash Out is. We don't have Go Google Yourself. Beyond Blame, Secret Message, Cabela.
Let's
Okay,
have fun. If Backyard Heaven makes it through, we're alive at all. Just and we're
Well,
satisfied.
you know what, Ray. Looking at leg two, it's leg two is no bargain either.
No,
Yes,
There's
yeah,
no,
no. As a
there's
matter
no
of fact,
guarantee that
I know.
we got 4 of the 9, and there's
Yeah,
no guarantee. I don't
we
feel
left.
real comfortable in that leg either.
Well, we left the favorite out, the 9.
Yeah,
Which is, that's my third pick down there on the bottom. We left that one out.
yeah.
yeah,
That's
left the
true.
favorite. Well, but here's the thing: and we also looking at that, we also left the Visadero out. Rich, the Visadero is my top choice.
Wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah,
I'm
like
sorry.
Leave the Visadero out.
No, I'm sorry. I must have.
Okay, so
Oh,
now
you know what?
it's 4x4, so it's 72. 4x4 is 16 by 9, 144, so 72. Yeah.
And that was not intentional. That was an unintentional delete.
Okay.
I want to put those first ones.
Now I'm looking at leg 2. The only consensus we have
Is the 3.
is the 3, well, and the 8.
Well, and the 8 is your top pick.
Right, but the 8's also your second pick.
And then the 3 is me and Ray's top pick. So we've got that.
Right.
And then I've got the 7 and the 6 I put in there just as extras because I just wanted more coverage.
Well, okay, but then when if we put the 9 in there, if we do that, we would put the 9 in there also, and then I think it would be like $90 or whatever it is.
Yeah, starting to get ridiculous.
6. Yeah, of course, world approval would win, and backyard heaven will win, and okay, so that's 4.
That's
that
4
would be
times
90.
5.
That's 20 by 9. That's 90.
Yeah.
That's
getting severe on a single.
I would. Oh man,
so that's why you saw me taking some of those out.
Leg 2. I mean, I'm just like, we got. Leg 2 is so difficult, and the choice of going 5 deep or 2 deep in that leg.
Well, I would say this. How about? I mean, do we need the 9? Do we need the 9 then in the finale? Those first 2 legs are tough, but do we need the 9 then in the finale? I know I got.
Do we need the 2 in leg 1? Shining Copper.
Well, Shining Copper is on both of your tickets.
Yeah, it was the 4th pick. Last pick.
Like I said, I didn't include him.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could.
I would feel comfortable.
What choice were you talking about in the finale, Rich?
If he wins, that'd be.
The only one that I have that it was my top pick was Beyond Blame.
No. You said something about getting rid of something. You want to get rid of.
Yeah. Do you want to start? Well, I mean that's the race that we're the deepest. That's the one that's going to in the end cost the most money. So you've got the 9 choices there. I mean, I know it's the hardest race, but with the first 2 races being as difficult as they are, do we want to start?
I'd be willing to chop down, but I mean, because if we chop down to like 3 horses each, like our top 3 picks each, because Ray, basically the 4 and the 9 would come off because Ray would have the 8, 10, 11. I'd have the 6, 8, 3. You have the 8, 12, and 1. So we would basically chop down to 7. So then each of us would have our top 3 picks in that race. So that would be 7 by 3. Okay, 7 by 5 is 35. If we put the 2 back on, that would be 140. So that'd be 70. If we don't, it's
like 57.
7 by 5, it'd be 52. 3 by 5 is 15. By 7 is 105. So it'd be 5250.
Yeah, so I thought.
So if we go 3 by 5 by 1 by 7, to me that makes sense. I can go that way. 5250.
It's 5750, right? 7 times 5 is 7 times 5?
7 times 5 is 35. Times 3 is 105.
Oh, 105. Okay.
5250.
Any space here.
That works. So basically, we need Backyard Heaven to win.
Yeah.
It's, again, leg one is probably. I mean,
Leg one's tough too.
yeah,
145.
it's funny. This was really. This turned out to be a real difficult sequence, other than backyard heaven. Because even leg one, I could have found.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And I still, I
like
still got
five contenders to
I've
start.
still got a spot for Shining Copper there. So anyway, we've got 145 with 3, 8, 6, 7, 9 with 6. Excuse me. Let me turn the 6 screen with 8, 10. Oh, excuse me. 8, 11, 10, 3, 6, 12, 1. We fired up our own Keno machine there in the finale. And the final price tag on that one is $52.50.
I still don't feel confident.
We still don't feel
I know.
Boy, I am just like if we could even get to that last leg, we still only have half the field.
Did you get that one, Joe, before I?
Actually, Rich, I'm gonna need you to put it in because I'm not sure. I'll be at the beach tomorrow. I'm not sure I'll make. I mean, I should be home, but I'd rather just ask you to do it just in case.
You're at the beach tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, my son's got a scout thing at the beach tomorrow.
That's awesome. Cool. There you go, Josh.
From like 9 to 4.
All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because, well, that's what the Three Broke Guys do. We will get together to take a look at another exciting card. It is the first time ever on this show. We're going to Ohio, OHIO, and the Ohio Derby at Thistledown. It's in North Randall, Ohio. All right, gentlemen. That's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Always fun.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Everybody.